What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. I told you last week I was going to break this video up into two parts for the Premier League predictions and the Premier League reactions to the weekend. I thought I'll get this video out tonight. Tuesday seems like a better night for it. So yeah, it's going to be two shorter videos. I think it's a little bit better for people to digest. I don't want to make the videos too long. I want to obviously keep you guys engaged. So I'll keep it just the reaction to this weekend's games. So first of all, we'll start off with the Arsenal-Aston Villa game. Now, I predicted this to be a 2-1 win to Villa. End up 3-1 to Arsenal. The interesting thing there was I didn't think Arsenal. I'm sort of waiting for Arsenal to for their form to drop. And this is what Arsenal have given me over the last few years is that you do feel like their form's gonna drop. You don't feel like they're gonna keep rolling on it and rolling on it. Maybe this is a new chapter for them, and that's a great result. We've got them in the cup in the morning, ours being Leeds, obviously. So we'll see what happens there. We'll obviously play them during the year as well. I haven't played them yet, but since that wobbly start against those teams, which I've discussed recently, and people know about those early games, they've really kicked on and done quite well. So 3-1 against Villa is a great result, albeit being at home, but Partey getting on the score sheet, Smith Rowe with a deflected goal. But you know, it was all around a good performance. They had 22 shots, I believe in the end, 9 on target, something like that. So yeah, good display by Arsenal, and it looks like they're going to be that mid, maybe pushing for Europe. Maybe I don't know, probably just outside. I think they're at that Everton level at the moment. So yeah, very interesting game in the end. Chelsea versus Norwich. Now, this is obviously the biggest scoreline of the weekend. Not the biggest game, but the biggest scoreline. 7-0 win. I did predict 4-0 because I didn't want to go as far as saying 6 or 7-0, but it was just Chelsea from start to finish. Hudson-Odoi looking very, very good. They said no Lukaku, no Pulisic, and no Werner. No problem. Dominant start to finish. Mason Mount with his first with a hat trick. I believe he hadn't scored in 6 months. Someone can fact check me on that, but I heard that sort of stat somewhere, and it's come off the top of my head as I was speaking. So look, that's Chelsea flying, and that's Norwich, and that's really positive for us as Leeds fans. We've got them coming up this weekend, which I'll do a prediction video on Friday. But you know, I think Norwich. Some people are petitioning for Norwich to leave the league because they're just not really fighting for it. They seem to go down, you know, win the Premier League, win the Championship, or get promoted, and then take the Premier League money and go down again. So whether it's not proper investment, I mean, they sold Buendia, they brought in that Rashika, but they didn't really reinvest like fantastically. Buendia is a quality player, and they didn't really reinvest that money when they sold him or replace him. Cantwell as well, he's probably going to leave, I'd say, at the end of the season. He'll want to play Premier League football. He won't want to go down to the Championship and fight his way back up again. He's a player that I'd like at Leeds, actually. So interesting to see if we were linked with him a little bit. Didn't end up happening, obviously. Palace Newcastle. I predicted Palace 2-0, end up 1-1. Bit of a nothing game in the end, if I'm honest with you. I thought Palace would have enough, but they seem to be really up and down. You know, I still think Vieira's doing a great job, and I still think it's Palace are probably going to be a mid-table side. Newcastle, we'll see what investment they get in January. I don't believe they're going to go down the spending lots of money on one player route. I think they're going to pick up players like your Sterlings. Who else is there that I'm talking about? Some people said Harry Kane, which is an interesting shout. You got the money there. He's gone for Alan Shearer's record. That is interesting, but I don't think he'd want to go there. He wants to win a Premier League now. But there's some interesting players and stuff that linked with him. So we'll see what happens there. But in the end, 1-1 draw. Newcastle probably needed that point to help him out. Everton Watford. Now, I predicted this 2-0, and I thought it'd be comfortable for Everton at 2-0. So I was right up until a point where Everton completely capitulated and conceded 5, ended up 5-2. I don't know where that came from because Watford have been dire, completely trash. When we played against them, we only won 1-0, but it could have been 4, 5, 6. Should have been. So weird result. Watford needed the win. They got another 3 points. I still think they're going to be in the bottom 3 come the end of the year, but I can honestly, I don't know what happened. Everton just shut off. I've never seen something like that before in my life, just a complete shut off. Yeah, such a strange game. If you haven't watched it, go watch the highlights. I recommend it. It's an extremely strange game. Southampton versus Burnley. I predicted 1-0 Southampton, ended up 2-all. I thought Southampton wouldn't have enough for Burnley, but apparently not. I think Southampton played quite well against us, but maybe we made them look better than what they are, which we did play pretty dire. We were pretty poor. So yeah, 2-all draw. Good point for Burnley. I don't think it's enough, and I think Southampton could be below us. I still believe Southampton should be below us. We should have really beaten them. I know it's a poor performance, but we've got to do better than that. Man City Brighton. I said 2-1 because I thought Brighton might actually put up a bit of a fight, and they did in the second half, but too little, too late. Man City put 3 away in the first half. Second half, Brighton scored to make it 3-1, but then Man City finished the job. And look, Brighton let themselves down just from that first half. Second half, Brighton probably the better side, but you can't let Man City have all the ball and chances in the first half and expect to come back unless you're Liverpool or Man United or something. Although Man United, we'll get on to them, but this is Liverpool, Chelsea, one of those sort of top sides that can and have the players to do that. Brighton just left it a little bit too little, too late. West Ham, Tottenham. I predicted 2-0 because I thought West Ham would have too much for them, but it was, and they did. They won 1-0. But it was a lot closer than I thought. I thought West Ham would be the perfect team to counter Tottenham at the moment. Solid defensively, which they were. And I thought attacking-wise, I thought Tottenham would be poor at the back and they would get battered. But no, look, it ended up 1-0. West Ham did it relatively comfortably, but Tottenham attacked at times, and Harry Kane isn't really doing it, is he? He's not. I've said this before, I think, and obviously I'm a bit biased because I'm a Leeds fan, that I like a striker that works hard like Brentford. I know he doesn't score as many goals, and he's only got 1 for the year so far, albeit he's been injured. Harry Kane, I just watch him walk around the forward line and he's just there as like a obstacle, but not really. He's just a cone. I get he's world class and he's going to attack, and he's going to attack well. Although this year he's not. I still think that the way the game is played now, you need to have that hard work rate, and we'll get onto that with other players like Ronaldo as well. But gone are the days where you could be a lazy player and score goals and it's all forgiven. I just don't. Not that I don't rate him. I think he is on his day world class. I just think that he's just very lazy, and you've got to have 10 other players or 9 other players around him who are willing to put in that little bit extra to, number one, make the attack, like help on the attacks, but also you've got to defend harder. You've got loose men because he's not there. So attacking sense, I like Harry Kane. Defensive, not just so much defensive, but just work rate. I think he's just half-assed. Next up is the Leicester-Brentford game. Now I predicted 2-all, end up 2-1 Leicester. Brentford probably deserved a draw, so my prediction of 2-all could have been okay. A couple of chances, Mbeumo had a chance, should have scored. Tony had a chance, a couple of chances, good headers and stuff. So look, in the end, Brentford showing how they're still a very, very good side. Leicester just a Tielemans wonder strike again. He's scoring some bangers recently, Tielemans. He's been really, really good for them. And showing that it surprised me because he was touted as being a wonder kid, and the fact he went to Leicester after sort of being moved around to some bigger clubs, he went to Leicester afterwards. Not that Leicester isn't a relatively biggish club now; they've got a bit of history, but they're not a big club. So he's done really well there, and look, he'll probably get himself another big move somewhere. I could see him end up at like a Barcelona, maybe like a Dortmund or a Bayern Munich, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's got a Real Madrid feel about him. He hasn't got like a PSG feel about him. Maybe PSG, but he's got more of like a Bayern Munich feel. But anyway, I'm rambling. He quality strike. He was top notch again. And onto the game of the weekend, and one that nobody saw coming. Liverpool 5, Man United 0. red card to Paul Pogba, which we'll touch on. I predicted 2-1 because Man United usually show up to these, but I did say Salah was going to run riot, which isn't, I understand it isn't like a masterclass thing to say. It isn't something, oh wow, I can't believe Steve predicted that. But Salah was unreal. And Liverpool overall unreal. Naby Keita, Mane was on the bench for that. Jota played really well, got a goal. Firmino was quality. Milner overrunning the midfield, Man United's midfield. Van Dijk at the back. Konate made a mistake for the. He was making a few mistakes, but overall I thought Konate was really good. The fullbacks causing havoc, and just Mo Salah. He is the best player in the world at the moment. Better than Ronaldo, better than Messi, better than Neymar, better than Mbappe. And I like Mbappe and Neymar, but I feel like they're still that tier below. Mo Salah is the best player in the world. He is doing things that you expect of Messi. And look, this might change in 10 weeks. Ronaldo might score heaps, Messi might be scoring heaps, but I can't see that happening when Messi's playing for PSG, where you expect them to win. Although they got a draw against my team, Marseille. He's not really been scoring heaps and heaps of goals, but unless something like that happens where Ronaldo or Messi start scoring heaps of goals, I think Salah should win the Ballon d'Or. Lewandowski as well, I think he's owed a Ballon d'Or after last year, and after the year that he didn't actually get to win it because it wasn't one given, I think it was last year. So I think he's owed one, but I can't deny how good Mo Salah is. I think Mo Salah deserves one, and Liverpool need to wrap Mo Salah up as soon as possible in a contract. I know that there's a wage structure, there's like the club is bigger than the players situation at Liverpool, where they're not willing to go above a certain wage for certain players. I think there's not an exception to the rule where you go throwing heaps of money at him, but I think maybe you discuss with the players. Maybe I feel like this is one of those things where you need to discuss that with the playing group first. And sometimes in football it's still kept very secretive, but I'm sure there might have been discussions. But you got to turn around and say, look, we want to keep Mo Salah. And it's hard because you don't want him to also get thrown under the bus with the players, where the players are thinking you think that I'm better than you. You think that that you're better than us, sorry. But at the same time, you want him to. You need to keep Mo Salah, because Mane. I like Mane. He's a good player, but Mane is not that Mo Salah level. You need to make sure Mo Salah stays. I know he's 29, but he's got 4 or 5 years of quality still left in him. He wants to retire at Liverpool. He said that. So you have to make sure he's all wrapped up. Ronaldo. So Ronaldo had a disallowed goal. Anyone that's been cracking it saying, no, it's not offside, blah, blah, blah. Look at the Brentford one against Crystal Palace last year. We didn't get awarded a goal. We ended up losing that game 4-2. That goal makes it 2-2 at the time. Different game. Bamford was offside. Defender playing him on. He points where he wants it. A part of his sleeve is offside, which is stupid because that's a handball. That was worse than the Ronaldo one. I understand that Ronaldo, it's one where you turn around and you think it is silly, and it really is silly because it's not offside any other time. There's no VAR checking it. But it is within the rules that it's offside, and that's why I complain about Bamford, but in the end it's within the rules. Stupidly, but it is within the rules. But unfortunately he didn't score. That's probably all he really did for the day. I felt like when Ronaldo scored, he had this look about, I've done my job, what are you guys doing letting 5 in? That's the feel I got from it. Paul Pogba, the sending off. I've seen a lot of people debating about this. I wouldn't say arguing, it's definitely just, debating. Is it a red card? Yes. And here's my reasoning. Whether no matter where the foot positioning, the studs are up and he's coming in 2-footed. I've seen where, and I know he gets to the ball, he gets more of the ball than most people have in the past, but I've seen people get all of the ball and still get sent off for those sort of challenges because it's reckless. Whether I agree with it or not, it's another thing, but it's within the rules. So my heart says he shouldn't have been sent off because I don't think that's completely fair. I think it was a decent enough challenge. However, he basically torpedoed into him and injured him. And yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but it was literally torpedo when you literally stood flat but horizontal, and you're coming in with studs up. That's an ankle breaker. And Navigator's been injured again from it after playing really well and having a good little run of games. I don't know the exact injury update with him, but it's a red card. But it just felt like everything compiled. Liverpool, everything was going right. Man United, everything was going wrong. They were playing poor. Maguire really, really bad at the back again. Let's be honest, when Varane comes back, it'll be Lindelof that makes way. But I think it should be Harry Maguire. I think he needs to make way. Luke Shaw, extremely poor again. How come Maguire and Shaw are world class for England and poor for Man United? Remember when there was that little stint there last year where everyone said how good they were going to be? Well, that's gone to pot now. That midfield isn't good enough. Fred and McTominay, it's okay for an Everton sort of level, but for Manchester United, as much as I hate them, they should have world class in there. And I know Van der Beek isn't a defensive midfielder, but what has he done to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to not get in the team? The whole situation is very, very weird. You sign a player like Van der Beek for, 40 million, and then he never plays. He never, ever plays. Fernandes couldn't get going. Just overrun every department. Rashford had a good chance before Liverpool scored the second. Before they scored the second. Just went wide, but then after that, pretty quiet. Overall, poured out of the office. Interesting thing, Paul Scholes did say during the week, after they came back against Atalanta, Rio Ferdinand and that were all buzzing. Paul Scholes was criticised for being a bit boring and being a bit negative. And he said if they play like that, they'll lose 5-0 on the weekend. He was right. It's quite funny how it's that karma situation, isn't it? Everyone complained at him for being negative, but he was right. If he saw something in that Man United team that said to him that they're going to beat Liverpool, he would have been positive. If they were playing well and it was just an off day, but they came back and won, they'd be saying that's a Premiership winning side. That is a top of the table mentality. But they didn't. They were playing poor. They lost to Leicester, and then they started off losing to Atalanta again and just came back. And then they get battered 5-0 against Liverpool. Really interesting times at Manchester United at Old Trafford, and that's the best part. It was at Old Trafford. That's why I thought Man United, I thought they were going to lose, but I thought it was going to be closer than that. I thought it was going to be a really interesting game, but it just wasn't. And Liverpool really looked like that team that's going to be in the top at the top of the league now. I know Chelsea had the game against Liverpool, it ended up a draw. I've got that feeling it's Liverpool. But you can't count out Man City either. This is the best part about this year. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, all three of those teams can win it. I love it. That's the Premier League that I want. I'm sick of teams just running away with it. Even Leicester sort of ran away with it a bit in the end. Tottenham weren't really that close. Every year someone's got ran away with it, you know. I know the Man City Liverpool one where Liverpool had like the second highest point tally of all time and would have won the league every other year, but they lost to Man City. That was close. But except for that, everything it's not really been close. So this year, having more than two teams in the race, I'm really, really enjoying it at the moment, and I genuinely don't know who it's going to be. But thank you again for watching the video. If you could drop me a like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Had some new subscribers this week. Thank you. I know I was a bit preachy and asked for new subscribers last week, but I'm just trying to build a community, and I want to see the channel grow, and I don't want to be one of those people that sort of start doing it and it doesn't grow and then lose interest. I genuinely want to do this, not as a job or anything, but just as a hobby. I really enjoy making videos for you guys. So if you could drop me a like, a comment, and a subscribe, that'd be fantastic. And I'll see you on Thursday for my prediction video. It'll be a short one. I think it's a bit longer, but it'll be a short one again, between 6 to 10 minutes, and I'll be just talking about the games coming up, and then my Leeds prediction on Friday. So again, come on Leeds, march on together. We've got to beat Arsenal tomorrow morning, FA Cup, and we can reach a quarter final. So we haven't had a good cup run in a very long time. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and peace.